Hey, it's Andrew Wilson here, and welcome back to Put It on the Podcast.
Hello, and happy Halloween, all you friends out there. Oh, I'm Elizabeth.
That's right.
Yep.
And we took a week off last week. Sorry, Ivy. I know you were probably disappointed.
Yeah, Ivy Scarlett, big shout out. Our number one fan, shout out this week.
Boom. Fan shout out to Ivy.
Ivy's great. She just loves the podcast, and we're inspiring her to do great things. But what she doesn't know is she's inspiring us to do great things.
That's right. Never stop dreaming, Ivy.
That's right.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Let's roll right into it because we got a lot to talk about this week.
We do. We got so much to talk about, starting off with the accountability corner. So just imagine me sitting in a corner talking to you about my blog. So this week, I wrote a blog, and the title is Why Not? And I was so inspired by everything that has happened in the month of October. It's just been full of random moments where you're like, should I do this? And then you answer yourself, why not? And then you do it. And then your life is better for it and full of great moments and memories. So I wrote a blog that basically says, hey, if you want to do something, why not just do it?
Why not?
And why fear failure? Don't feel fear failure. Sorry.
Right.
Don't fear failure.
There's some quote that says, like, we're not afraid of failure. We're afraid of ourselves when we succeed.
Ooh.
What if, like, we become, like, greater than we can handle?
Whoa.
So it's kind of like talking about, like, we should try
Plot
things
twist.
even though it may be scary that we gain more responsibility because it'll kind of grow us as an individual.
That's
so,
true.
Like, struggle should make us stronger.
That's so true. So yeah, so go check out the blog. It's called Why Not? Hopefully it inspires you to follow your dreams and your passions and everything else very broad and vague.
That's right. Rainbows and unicorns.
Rainbows and unicorns.
And all of the above.
So true.
So we kind of started the podcast on the why not mentality.
Indeed we
and
did.
Here we are on episode 6.
Wow.
Rocking and rolling.
10 toes down.
10 toes down because we're established.
Yeah, we
and
are.
so we're thinking about rolling in some new segments to the podcast.
Right.
And so we'll probably do this intermittently as appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And so first new segment.
Here we go.
What the heck just happened?
What the heck just happened?
And
Because we have a lot of crazy things that happen.
Yeah, so this will happen during the week when, like, something happens and you think,
What the heck just happened?
what the heck just happened? So
Did that really just happen?
Did that really just happen? What the heck just happened? So that'll roll in here eventually. Today, a little later, we're going to do the My Life is a Movie segment.
What you don't know is me and Andrew live extremely interesting lives. And sometimes we're like, our lives are just so awesome, they should be on a movie. And so then we tell you about it.
Right. So that's the kind of premise. It's like, why is this happening to me? This is really cool. I think it's a great moment. So
people would be entertained watching my life. I'm just that cool.
Probably not. There'd be a lot of montages of, like, sitting and typing and
It's
sitting
probably
and
that
typing.
thing where it's like, we think our lives are super cool, and then people actually see them. They're like, what's so cool about this?
Anyways.
Anyways.
So we're going to roll that out because why not? It'll be fun.
Why not?
So tell me about your friend from Australia.
Okay, yeah.
That's
First,
cool. That's
first
literally
cool story. It's kind of like a My Life is a Movie / like what the heck just happened. But I met a girl this past weekend from Australia, and I met her because she's really good friends with my parents from Reston. She goes to Louisiana Tech. So we went out to ice cream with her, and she's got the accent and everything. And so we're just talking about life in Australia, and the first thing she talks about is this thing called Vegemite.
Yeah.
Which is like the stuff that
It's
apparently
kinda-
all the children eat, like PB&J's. It's Vegemite.
Like you eat Vegemite on toast.
Yeah, Vegemite on toast. And so we talked about it. She was like, you wouldn't like it. Or I can't really do her accent. But anyways, and so she told me a lot of cool words that they say in Australia that I thought were cool. Like, you call candy lollies or lollies. Like, here's some lollies. And she brought us some candy. She brought us some lollies. And they're really good.
You kind of sound British.
I'm trying. I'm
That's
better
all
at
right.
British accents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then other things like a pickup truck is called a ute. And I was like, all right. And then flip-flops
Are called thongs.
are called throngs.
That's funny.
You have a funny story about
Yeah, my brother lived
that.
in Australia for about a year. So shout out to Rob. I think
Rob.
I've mentioned him a few times on the podcast.
Yep.
But anyway, Robert moved to Australia after he graduated college. And when he sent back a Christmas gift, like, he wrote this letter and it was like, everybody gets this and this and this, and kind of delineated the presents. And so he's like, Mom, I sent you some thongs. And
Oh my God.
everybody's like, what the heck just happened?
What the heck just happened?
And then we open up and it's flip-flops. And we're like, oh, okay.
What a relief.
But they were really good flip-flops, and Mom really liked them a lot.
I can't imagine the awkwardness of that moment.
It was really awkward because he wasn't there to explain it. He was in, like, another
All you know
another
is,
time
like,
zone.
Unopened present and the word thong. And, like, what's about to happen? But it was flip-flops. We're
It was
good.
flip-flops, so everybody's good. Not awkward.
Nope, we know the end of the story. It's all right.
Boom.
Boom. Another cool thing from Australia is I was asking her, I was like, all right, so kangaroos, right? Like, are they actually a thing, or is it like a mythological creature? And she's like, no, kangaroos are just as real as like deer here. Like they just kind of hop out of the woods, and I just can't. Anyway, she said kangaroos, wallabies, koalas. They just actually they exist.
Yeah, Robert talked about that a lot too, because in Mississippi, like, it's like, oh, I was driving down the trace and hit a deer, and like people are always hitting deer and stuff, and it's a bad thing. And then he's like, no, in Australia, like, oh, there's kangas everywhere. They're out there on the outback, and people are running into the kangas with their cars, or their utes, I guess, if it's a pickup truck.
Wow.
But he's like, oh man, there's kangaroos everywhere. Like, he stared one down in his backyard. He worked at like a lumber factory in Wandoan, which is kind of in the bush, and so there were kangaroos out there all the time. And he was like, look at him and like stare him down in the backyard.
I'm still thinking about how your accent is legendary. Wow. That was so awesome. Oh my gosh. You take your voice like 3 notches lower, and then you talk in an Australian accent. It's kind of freaky.
That's the way it goes. You have to be versatile.
Wow. Anyway, speaking of kangaroos, funny.
Oh, that thing in journalism.
So for some reason, our journalism professor likes for us to tell car wreck stories, and then we write news stories about them, and it's pretty interesting. And anyway, so one guy gets up, and he's like, we've told a lot of car wreck stories, but none surpass this one. And we're all like, sure, whatever, like, what's going to happen? So this really chill guy gets up, and he's like really unassuming. And so he gets up, and he's like, yeah, it's not, I mean, it's just kind of like a fender bender. And I'm like, what is so great about this story? And he's like, so I was like changing lanes, and I hit the car in the next lane because he was like talking on the phone with his girlfriend or something. He's like, I looked at the car and saw a kangaroo in the backseat. And we're all like, what? What the heck? And so then he tells us this story about how these 2 chicks are literally, they've swaddled up a live, large kangaroo, put him in the backseat. He was wearing a seatbelt. She was like, what? He was wearing a seatbelt. And they were taking him to some like wildlife reserve in North Mississippi. And he was like, dude. No, so then they pull over, just insurance stuff. Right, at a wreck, that's what you do. And he's like, is there a kangaroo in the backseat? And they're just like, yeah. Like, okay, yeah, totally. I was just totally chill.
My favorite part is that the kangaroo is wearing a seatbelt.
And he didn't tell us that to the end. Like, he goes through the whole story, and we're like, all right, cool, like, taking our notes, and he's about to sit down, and he goes, oh, and the kangaroo was wearing a seatbelt, and we're all just die laughing.
I'm picturing, like, Kangaroo Jack back there. Maybe he has on sunglasses. It's just like, because kangaroos are chill, right?
They are, oh, yeah.
And he's just sitting back there wearing a seatbelt, wearing a blanket, like, oh,
Buckled
I'm on a road
trip. Buckled up.
Kangaroo goes to the zoo.
Yeah, I think about that, too. I think that's really funny. But anyway, so not many kangaroos buckled up in back seats in America, so that was pretty unique.
Yeah, that doesn't happen every day.
So his life is a movie, and what the heck just happened?
I think we may be trying to stretch these segments too far, but it's okay because we're kind of experimenting with them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more like topical themes of the podcast.
Right.
What the heck just happened? My life is a movie.
Totally.
Kangaroo, car wreck, backseat.
Exactly. So this weekend, we didn't record our podcast because I was out of town, and I was actually at one of the best moments of my life because I was at the LSU Ole Miss game, and LSU had a great upset, and it was awesome. And Andrew's actually an Ole Miss fan, so I'm trying to be very delicate with my speech right now.
Delicately handle the situation.
Delicately handle the situation, and it was a great game. Both teams played really hard, and it was one of the best games I've ever been to. It was the loudest game I've ever been to by far. Death Valley is insane at night, so it was cool to get to be a part of that and to drive down with my family. But here's a funny so I'm road tripping with both of my parents and both of my grandparents, right? So there's bound to be interesting things that happen on the road. And I won't say all of the interesting things because there was a lot. But one thing was my mom was looking at one of those seasonal catalogs. And one of the items was a Twizzlers scented candle. And I thought that was funny because Andrew absolutely hates Twizzlers. That's the one food that he does not like.
Literally, I hate Twizzlers. I got one today and threw it away.
Yeah. He makes a point to be like, I love all food but Twizzlers. And he'll tell you that. Like,
yeah,
I hate
Twizzlers. Let me have one thing that I don't like, and it's Twizzlers.
It's Twizzlers. He hates them. So.
Everything else, though, I'll probably eat. Even Vegemite. I tried Vegemite one time.
Did you like it?
Not really, but...
What's it taste like?
It's kind of like...
Bitter herbs.
Bitter, right. It really is like a bitter thing. You kind of spread it over toast. And so they have Vegemite, and there's some kind of like other things similar that they have in England, too.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name. Marmite. Marmite.
Ooh.
One of them's Marmite, and one of them's Vegemite.
What's the
remember.
difference?
One's English, one's Australian.
Okay.
I don't remember which one's which.
I bet Vegemite's Australian because Taylor was talking about it. She also saying that the way to do it is you have to put thin dots of Vegemite on your toast. She's like, when people spread it on the whole thing, she's like, don't do it. It's going to be gross.
I definitely spread it.
Yeah, she's like, people need to adopt the dotting method.
Okay.
So next time you have
I have
Vegemite, just put dots
Right.
around it.
I'll give that a try.
Do it. So that was my crazy weekend of LSU Ole Miss. It was great.
Right. I was in the dorm watching it, and my little brother came to watch the game and just chill. And so, like, we watched the first half, and then, like, went to the Swannanoa Charlotte swap, and then came back and watched the second half.
Yeah.
Or the last. We really just watched the last quarter.
Fourth quarter. It's insane.
It was sad.
I'm sorry.
Somebody died at the game.
I heard.
about
What
that.
what happened there?
I really don't know, but I just feel like
It doesn't surprise me. I felt like there were moments like I could just black out. Like my head was literally shaking and like my voice was going out and like I could have just blacked out and passed out. You know, like it was so crazy.
We were all hyped in the dorm, and I can only imagine being there.
It
being incredible.
Unreal. Completely unreal. So that was a great weekend. We're sorry we had to miss last week's podcast, but
Yeah, but congratulations on the victory. So
thank you so much. Congratulations on y'all's victory against Alabama because that was a great game.
Boom.
That was a great
I was
game.
at that one. It was
Yeah, you
great.
were at that one.
Yeah,
We've both
so-
been at great SEC games this year. Wow.
on College game day. So
Heyo.
look at that.
I will actually be at the LSU Alabama game next weekend. So
No way.
there you go.
So
We'll
good,
revisit
good
that.
luck on that.
Thanks.
Tune in next time.
Who
to hear about
knows how that will end?
that. Boom. Could be crazy.
It will be crazy.
Let's talk about another Friday morning coffee mishap. This has
Okay.
become a trend for you.
I don't know
and
what is with me and Fridays and coffee, but they just are funny. And so, anyways, so y'all know at this point, we broke our first Keurig. So right now we're using like the single cup Keurig that's like tiny and you can only fit small mugs underneath it. So this morning, Hannah, one of my roommates, has like the tall to-go mug and she's like got it like kind of angled underneath to where it will like catch kind of some of the coffee. And so I see her like rigging this up and I'm like, Hannah.
Bad idea. Bad idea.
It was bad already. But I had just woken up and so I'm like thinking all of these logical things but not really able to perform them yet. So I was like, Hannah, what are you doing? She's like, I'm just, rigging up a coffee cup. I was like, okay. And so she like has it angled like totally at a diagonal to catch the coffee. And she's like propped it up against like a tray with like 2 jars and like candles or something, like weighed it down. And she walks away and I was like, and the coffee starts pouring and I was like, it's going to fill up and completely spill everywhere. But all I could do was just look at it. And I should have saved the day, but I didn't. And so then all of a sudden it like stops and it goes, psh, and like coffee goes all over the counter. And I was like,
everywhere.
Hannah! And she was like, what? And I was like, your coffee spilled everywhere. So that was a kind of a crazy morning. So we cleaned up the coffee. She took my coffee because there was no time. She had to go to class. But it was just one of those, I was like, coffee and Fridays.
The antithesis of that is my morning.
Okay, let's talk about your morning.
All right. We are now to the My Life is a Movie official segment.
First, preface, I see Andrew every Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning. And this morning, he was like already hyped and jacked on life and had been through so much life already. It was amazing.
This was incredible.
Yeah.
So I wake up, and first off, I went to sleep ridiculously early last night with the aid of some ZQL.
Indeed.
So, boom, I've got
Because
a
you
lot
were
of
hyped
sleep.
yesterday, too.
Right. I've got a lot of sleep under my belt
Yes.
at this point. Then I wake up, and my 9 o'clock class is canceled. What? Okay.
What?
So I go
That's
to,
already a great day.
I go to Twitter, and I see that it's Harry Potter Day at Cups. And that's also where I found out the class was canceled. So Twitter was good to me this morning.
Thanks, Twitter.
Boom. Shout out
Shout
to
out
Twitter.
to Twitter.
Hashtag
Jinx.
Twitter. So I go to Harry Potter Cups with Lauren Rutledge, and we're like chilling out, getting some coffee, and I was like, hey, there's like the golden snitch. And they're like, actually, if you find little styrofoam golden snitches, you get a piece of candy, or like you get a cup full of candy. And I was like, yes, I'm
doing
going
it.
to win the contest.
I will win.
And so like I'm like sneaking behind people, like looking behind them while they're studying, opening cabinets I probably shouldn't be opening, looking for the snitch. And then I'm like, I give up. I'm going to go sit on the couch. And so I go to where there used to be a couch and cups, but now there's a desk and a table.
Yes, I know what you're talking
I
about.
sit down at the desk, and Lauren says, hey, one time I wrote a note and left it in there. You should look. Open it up. Golden snitch.
Oh my gosh.
Who won?
You did.
I won.
Wow.
And so I was like,
Lucky.
hey, Kat. That's the girl who works behind the counter. I was like, I found the golden snitch. And she's like, you win this cup of candy. And so, like, I get the candy. I get my coffee. I'm, like, super jacked on caffeine and just, like,
So he gets to class double fisting, one fist of coffee, the other with full of candy, cup of candy, and a golden snitch perched on top.
boom. It was magical. And so I was like, this is literally like a movie moment. Who gets to say
is.
that I woke up, class was canceled, and then I won a contest and got some candy? Like,
In Harry Potter world.
in Harry Potter world.
Probably.
There's like decorations everywhere. I was like thankful to be a part of this morning.
Seriously, can we just talk about also how magical Cups is today? I literally spent like 5 hours in there today. So Cups has completely transformed, maybe not completely, but slightly transformed their space into Harry Potter world, basically. So they have all these decorations up that make you feel like you're
Sirius Black in
not
the
a muggle.
fireplace.
Yes.
The Chamber of Secrets has been opened.
Yeah, they have
The
platform
candles.
9 3/4, and you can walk through it.
Yeah.
Ooh, the candles. The candles were so cool. There was a bunch of candles hanging from the ceiling, kind of like the dining room thingy that they have.
The Great Hall.
The Great Hall, and then Dementors are hanging from the trees outside, and there's a sign on a tree that says the Whomping Willow.
Yeah. You know the Great Hall is really in Oxford, like in England?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that. That's amazing. I wanna
We were
go.
like, we would just walk by it this summer, and there's like all these people in line to go see the Great Hall,
What?
and they're like, we were like walking by, and Robert was like nonchalantly, "Oh yeah, they made a movie about some wizard in there,"
Okay.
and we're all like, "Okay, Rob,
Okay, wow.
that was a good day."
That's great. Yeah, today was a great day. Cups was good to me. And I took the sorting hat quiz.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about it.
What? You don't
Actually,
want to talk about it?
we will.
Let's just mention the fact that we're both Ravenclaws. But Andrew's mad about it because
I really wanted to be Slytherin.
He wants to be Slytherin.
Because Snape was my favorite character from watching the first movie.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the man.
Yeah.
And I want to be him. Mm-hmm. And then
Snape is the man.
I took the test. Like, honestly, I was like, I'm going to be in Slytherin because I want to be Snape.
Yep.
Results, Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw.
What's a Ravenclaw? It's not clearly defined. Like,
Exactly.
you know,
That's why-
Gryffindor's like rah, and like
Right.
then
Heroic.
what's a Ravenclaw?
Ravenclaw, that's why I like Ravenclaw, is because they're so mysterious. They're the most mysterious house in the whole
Yeah.
series. Like, you don't know anything about them. Like, Slytherins, you know, like, they're sneaky and, like, but really smart and crafty and manipulative. Anyways, also other good characteristics, not just
Right.
bad ones. And then
They desire
Hufflepuff.
success.
Right, they desire success. Gryffindors, really heroic, really brave and determined. Not Slytherins. Hufflepuffs, they're just really kind and nice. I don't know. You know, Hufflepuff. But,
cares about
and then
Hufflepuff?
Ravenclaw, you don't know anything. They're just smart and mysterious and kind of mind their own business. And then Cho Chang. And then that's all you know.
That's all you know.
So I'm kind of proud to be a Ravenclaw. I can make it up as I go along.
I guess we'll own our Ravenclawness.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
Boom.
own it.
We are Ravenclaw. Put it on the podcast team is
Yeah.
hashtag Ravenclaw.
We are Ravenclaw. Any other Ravenclaws out there, you can join our team.
Yeah, shout out, comment.
10
mention
points to
me on Twitter.
Ravenclaw.
10 points, 20 points to Ravenclaw.
20 points.
'cause there's two of us.
20 points for
Boom.
Ravenclaw.
We're going to win the World Cup.
Yeah, we are.
All right.
Okay.
Let's wrap up
With the blind question segment. Wow, we didn't even plan that.
Jinx,
that
that
was
was
great.
good.
You go first.
All right. My question is simple.
Okay.
Qdoba or Chipotle?
What is Qdoba?
You know what Qdoba
No.
is? It's like Chipotle.
Okay, then definitely Chipotle because I've never been to Qdoba. I would choose Qdoba once because I've never been there and I like to try new things. But probably I would choose Chipotle because I like Chipotle. There's a lot of good memories. And Chipotle was the first place I ever had an Arnold Palmer.
Really?
I was just chilling and my friend was like, hey, you should get half lemonade, half sweet tea. And I was like, that sounds delicious. So I did.
And it is.
And
I
it's
used
a
to
thing.
drink that like every day at work.
I didn't even know it was a real thing. And he was like, it's called an Arnold Palmer. Well, yeah, cool. Sounds like a guy's name. It is.
It is.
Who knew?
He is a golfer.
Hey, that's great.
The more you know.
What about you?
Hands down Chipotle.
Oh, okay.
Chipotle is fantastic. I had it for the first time in New York City, and
Hey, great city.
I love New York, and so
Me too.
It's kind of like you know how I am with World War Z, where it's like it was a great moment in my life, and then I
Yes.
became attached to it.
Indeed.
And so Chipotle is like great moment in my life. Now I'm attached to it.
That's great. Good memories.
Weird things with branding, but Chipotle definitely. Qdoba is very good. I'd go there again.
I've never even
but,
heard of it.
Chipotle is the one for me.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to go try Qdoba just so I can prove the fact that I would still choose Chipotle.
That's fair.
Probably.
Chipotle is probably the empire of like
It totally is.
the build your own burritos.
Yeah, it is. So my question is totally has to do with Harry Potter because I'm really obsessed with it. So the question is, if you could be like an integral character, but as yourself, like not choosing, like if Andrew Wilson could be in any of the movies or books, because they're the same, but the books are better. Okay, bye. Then which one would you choose to be of? Like which adventure would you choose to partake in and like be a hero in or a non-hero? Like, what storyline most fascinates
All right.
you?
Number 3,
Azkaban?
Prisoner of Azkaban, and number, like, the last movie.
The last one.
Where, like,
Deathly
they fight
Hallows.
Voldemort.
Yeah.
And so, I really like both of those. I'm probably going to go with The Prisoner of Azkaban, just because that whole plot, like the whole time, like with the time turner thing going on, and you've got like the hippogriff.
Oh, that one's cool.
And you've got Sirius Black. I'd just like to be involved with that situation. And then I kind of like that backstory of old Sirius Black dude coming back. And
You're a Sirius Black fan?
I am, not as much as I'm a Snape fan.
Okay, yeah.
But
Sirius is pretty
OG,
legit.
so
He
I like
is.
him.
Totally. It's funny. I was like, okay, anyway. So mine, I'm torn between all two as well. First one, Chamber of Secrets. It's just like, man, I don't know. I just like the Chamber of Secrets. And I could just see me and the girl that hangs out in the bathroom being friends.
Moaning Myrtle.
Moaning Myrtle.
No, she's so annoying.
She's so annoying, but I would just go in there and mess with her, I feel like.
What's up, Myrtle?
The Myrtle is like, just someone threw a book in my head. And then I also really like Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah?
I really like that one.
I was furious the first time I saw Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah, I bet you were.
Because I didn't know what was going to happen.
I know. It's a rough one. So I really like that one. But really, honestly, I would just like to be a fly on the wall of Hogwarts. I would be happy being a fly on the wall
Just go in
because it's awesome and I really like it. So
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
all right.
This has been week 6 of Put It On the Podcast.
Wow.
I feel like at the end of Star Trek when he's like, Captain Kirk, Captain's Log, whatever, and he's like, we're still flying around in space. And we're looking for new things, but that's what we do because
That's
we're
what we do.
space people.
That's great.
Anyway.
So we're still making podcasts
Still making
because that's what we
podcasts.
do. We're
That's what we
podcast
do.
people.
We're podcasters.
We are achieving our dreams one podcast recording at a time.
Boom. Never stop dreaming.